And now, CCW News presents Holy Crap! This is actually happening! April 17, 2022. I'm Chuck U. Farley. The big news this week is the absolute meltdown of the left over billionaire Elon Musk's attempt to purchase Twitter outright, as he believes the company has the, quote, potential to be the platform for free speech around the globe, end quote. In an effort to protect said democracy, the Washington Post ran an article about how awful it would be for a billionaire to own an entire media platform. Yes, that Washington Post, the one entirely owned by billionaire Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, because everyone knows that democracy dies in freedom. Twitter executives' fear of accountability led them to invoke a poison pill tactic, devaluing its stock and allowing Chinese nationalists and Saudi princes to gain more control, citing that more censorship is needed to protect the same vulnerable demographics that Chinese nationalists and Saudi princes throw off buildings. After a man set off smoke bombs and injured more than 20 passengers with gunfire aboard a New York City subway car, the liberal press predictably erupted with cries of gun reform, but no description of the human suspect. Mayor bail reform said the person of interest wore a gas mask and was magically not caught on any of the 700 plus cameras in the station, as the New York subway security force is run by the same contractors as Epstein's prison guards. The FBI and NYPD said the suspect was too perfectly camouflaged for them to see, as his skin was a darker color than politically expedient. Hackers on 4chan were able to track him down within hours because he is a known black nationalist terrorist who posted videos explaining his plan and then rented a U-Haul to carry it out. Authorities still ask that no one jump to any conclusions until they could find a way to blame the incident on a more politically correct random white guy or, in a pinch, Vladimir Putin. Later in the week, Frank James was promoted from person of interest to suspect when his social media rants were shared so often that the press couldn't hide him anymore. Upon his capture, it was no longer feasible to cover up the motives or race of the domestic terrorist, so the American Free Press summarily buried the story. Surprise. Fake hate crime perpetrator and bad actor, both on screen and as a poor excuse of human being, Jussie Smollett proves, once again, that if you have enough money, power, and melanin, crime does indeed pay. Quadrupling down on his claim of total innocence and staging a wholly unbelievable hate crime against himself, he released a song by the title, You Got the Wrong One. The single will be included in the forthcoming compilation album, which includes O.J. Simpson's song, I Didn't Do It Either, LOL, Hillary Clinton's rap, 34 and Counting, Stay on My Good Side, and Jeffrey Epstein's Seriously, I Didn't Kill Myself. Robert O'Rourke pretended he was an American for a few minutes to try and convince Texas that he actually believes in border security. His overtures were as realistic as his fake nickname. Meanwhile, the first busload of illegals from the Texas border arrived in D.C., where they were summarily ignored, as usual, by the Democrats who only use them when convenient for virtue signaling. In opposition to Florida's parental rights law, known to the propaganda mills as the Don't Say Gay law that doesn't say don't say gay, New Jersey and Maryland are going the other way by mandating that kindergartners must be taught self-pleasure and sexual concepts that this reporter can't even discuss because it would violate the terms of service on nearly every platform we broadcast from. Yes, folks, you definitely want the child you'll devote more than 18 years raising to be taught, in secret, sexual perversion from strangers who will be in their lives for a total of 180 days. In a totally unrelated story, the American Psychological Association has deemed children's mental health a crisis, as more children are depressed, stressed, and unhappy with life than ever before. King Brandon had a banner week, beginning with the Saudis making fun of him in a comedy skit, and ending with so much information coming out about his and Hunter's involvement in foreign extortion that he had to get Fauci out of mothballs to threaten new COVID lockdowns. He then went to the Alec Baldwin School of Gun Safety so that he could build a ghost gun on camera, finger on the trigger at all times, while delivering a very important message. We will steal your tax dollars to arm the Taliban and the Ukrainians, then fine you more tax dollars to take away your God-given right to protect yourself, because criminals only stop criminaling when we disarm and punish non-criminals. Instead of correcting supply chains to divert the coming food shortage, or open up domestic production to alleviate fuel shortages, Biden chose to mandate policies that use our food supplies to make inferior fuel? He wrapped up the week by mumbling through a speech in North Carolina, trying to shake a ghost's hand, and wandering aimlessly around until his handlers offered him Scooby snacks to coax him off the stage. After late-night comedians and foreign news organizations joked that Biden looked lost, Snopes and other fact-checkers quickly swooped in to debunk the claims, citing, "Obviously the president is not lost. Look, we can see him right there." Biden wrapped up his whirlwind press tour with the 47th retelling of his deer in Kevlar vests joke, yet a new rendition of his fully debunked story about trekking the Himalayas with Chinese dictator Xi Jinping, and saying that gun manufacturers, like tobacco companies, should be subject to prostitutes. Meanwhile, there may be armed nuclear weapons in the Russian warship that sunk in the Black Sea. Tens of thousands of cartel-trafficked Guatemalans are heading toward our fully open southern border, and the Chinese government is torturing and starving the entire population of its largest city while also executing pets in front of them. But all of this, of course, is not as important as the hottest debate currently on all media platforms. Did an Iowa bird actually poop on the president? For CCW News, this has been Holy Crap! This is actually happening. I'm Chuck U. Farley. Good night, and may God help us.